Hello and welcome to your yin practice. As always, please make sure you have some blocks, some extra props, rolled up blankets, cushions, heavy books, just for a little bit of added support in some of the poses. We're going to be working with the wood element. This is liver and gallbladder, and also the season of spring. So for those of us in Joburg at the moment, if you're sniffing and sneezing and enjoying the warmer days, but there's wind, there's pollen, there are flowers starting to bloom, all the wonderful things of spring. So we're just going to work with the awareness of those channels, of those organ systems, and making sure that the water element from winter is properly grounded and secure and in balance to support in that 5-element structure. So you can come into your preferred seated position, just allowing your eyelids to become heavy, and then closing your eyes. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, flying out through the mouth, breathing in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. One more time. Beginning to notice your breath. Observing the sensations as you breathe both in and out through the nostril. And taking a moment to scan through your body, starting at the soles of the feet, allowing the awareness to move all the way up to the crown of the head. And when we work with the wood element, the tissue we're working with are the sinews, parts of the body like the tendons and the ligaments. So when we go through the yin poses, just keeping particularly the ligaments in mind. So the ligaments being the mechanism that connects bone to bone, so supporting the joints in particular. And they're very strong rope-like bands of connective tissue. So there's not a huge amount of flexibility. They don't use a lot of blood flow. And they're there to anchor and to support. Checking in with the ankle joint, knee joint, hip joint, shoulders, elbows, wrists, neck. And almost think of each vertebra in the body as being one joint connecting to another. And as you exhale, gently guiding to turn the chin to the left-hand side as far as feels comfortable. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, turning across to the right. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, gently dropping your left ear in that lateral stretch. Inhale to lift up. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale up to neutral. Exhale, gently dropping the chin towards the chest. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, head drops behind the shoulders and you can open and close into the mouth. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, dropping forward and just allowing your head and neck to roll from side to side. Inhale to lift the chin to neutral. Excuse me. Shrugging the shoulders up towards the ears as you breathe in. Exhale, sighing out. Inhale to shrug up. Exhale to sigh out. One more time. Just adjusting again into your seated position. We'll begin with a few rounds of Nadi Shodhan, alternate nostril breathing. So we'll place the index and middle finger lightly on the forehead, thumb over right nostril and ring finger over the left. Ensuring that the shoulder's nice and relaxed. You can use the right hand to support the elbow if there's a heaviness in the body. And taking a nice full breath in through the nose. Closing the right nostril, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Closing the left, exhale through the right. Inhaling through the right. Closing the right, exhale through the left. Inhale through the left. Closing the left, exhale through the right. Continuing a few more rounds at your own pace. 2 more rounds. And just gently lowering the right hand back down to the knee, keeping the eyes closed for a little bit longer. Noticing the breath, the mood, acknowledging the intention of Nadi Shodhana is to balance parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system, so the rest and digest with fight and flight. Good support for the central nervous system. Starting to rub your palms together. We're just going to take the hands and place them to the small of the back above the hip bones. Just a little bit of nourishment for the kidney area. The left kidney being men, what fires, creates heat and warmth for the whole body. And then the right kidney considered to handle the physiological functions as we understand it in a Western context. Starting to rub the palms together. Placing the palms over the eyelid. Just feeling the warmth move to the back of the eye socket. Just softly begin to blink the eyes open, lowering the hands down the front of the body, interlacing. We reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, give it that stretch over to your right hand side. Inhale to come up over to the left. Inhale to come up. Exhale, little twist. And just from this position, take a few little rolls if it feels good on the neck, off the chin, along the length of your collarbone. One roll. Releasing to neutral. Going over the right shoulder. And rolling into the chin. One more time. Coming back to neutral, we're going to release the legs. Give it a nice little shake out into the feet. Maybe a little bit of circling rotations for the wrists and ankles. You can't see my feet, but I'm circling into them. A little bit of a flex and point. Okay. Keeping the legs extended if it feels comfortable. We're going to take just bending into the fingers, working with the knuckles. And you'll feel that little indentation, and there's that strong band that you can feel that often holds a lot of tension in the neck alongside the cervical vertebra, and rolling downwards. Okay, we're not going up towards the head, we're moving the energy away. So in principle, the yang energy goes up to the top of the body, up to the head, but then we need to bring it down and anchor back towards the feet. So yin energy closer to earth, yang energy, more of that ether element, more of our vata in yogic principles. And that long band of muscle, that sternocleidomastoid, you could just also run at a pressure that feels comfortable with the knuckles. Other side. Just making sure you're getting that area close to the neck to begin with, or close to the spine, sorry, the neck vertebra. And here we're working into the bladder channel, the yang pairing of the kidneys for water element. And then as you move a little bit more to the lateral side of the neck, or that sternocleidomastoid, we go more into the gallbladder channel, which is the yang pathway of the wood element paired with the liver. And giving it a little bit of a shake out. We're going to come into our butterfly pose. If you would like to be seated on a block, if you would like blocks underneath the sit bones, and giving yourself a little bit of height, a little bit of extra space for the hips, just exploring that. We're going to work into our kidney 1 point, which if this is the sole of your foot, we want to work from a third way down, okay? So the space between the big toe and the second toe, it's almost like you come over the ridge of the foot, and just underneath in that space, you should feel a little bit of tenderness. And it's generally, if we divide, well, not generally, it is, if we divide the foot into thirds, it's at the, over that ridge to the end of the first little third, okay? And just using your thumbs, a little bit of a massage, a little bit of pressure. If you prefer to apply direct pressure, always do so on the exhalation, or if you just want to massage into that area, the choice is yours. So the reason we're including a little bit of kidney and urinary bladder awareness is in the 5-element structure, water moves to wood, wood moves to fire, fire moves to earth, earth moves to metal, metal moves to water, okay? In a circular, the one nourishing the other element, so principles of interdependence and nourishment. We just want to make sure that we have enough water, so to speak, as we now move into spring. So as much of about internal homeostasis or balance, as well as supporting the transition of what's happening in our external environment. And just releasing there, you can perhaps take the feet a little bit wider, be a little bit more generous in your butterfly pose. Blocks can go underneath the knees as you prefer. Taking a nice big breath in, relaxing into the shoulders. Just make sure your props feel supporting. Steadying the breath, remind your chin to tuck back to the throat. Noticing sensations in the lower back, along the crease of the hip joints, the groin area. The lovely thing is that the kidney, liver, and spleen channel all run quite closely from the feet along the inseam of the legs, the groin, and then finish at different places along the torso area. Focusing on those areas, any energetic sensations of perhaps opening or a little bit of deepening into the edge release. And in the yang channels, the urinary bladder runs to the back of the leg, the gallbladder, the lateral, and the stomach channel, which is considered the most yin of the yang channels, runs very close on the lateral side of your shin bone, outer thigh, and along the chest and even up into the face. We're here for one more minute. One more minute. 30 seconds remaining. Three more deep breaths. Inhale, gently palming the hands up, rounding down through the base of the spine. Remember that we open into the shoulders, then the neck, and lastly release into the head. I'm just coming off my block, placing the feet flat and giving yourself just some gentle windscreen wipers to release into the hips. Crossing over your ankles and just coming to rest into your child's pose. Finding any support with props and blocks, whether it's for the hips, for the head, blankets rolled up to the back of the knees, even perhaps. And then, if comfortable, allowing the arms to reach out. Remember, we're not going for that full reach as we do in our more dynamic practices. You might even want to snap into the fists and just allow the head and neck to be supported and the whole body to really be passive and melting into the floor. Once again, keeping your awareness to the inseams running from the feet, along the insides of the legs, the groin area, and just up along into the torso. Okay, so yin practice does focus a lot on the hip and leg area, but if we can also acknowledge and understand that the yin channels do run onto the chest area, then when we're in some of our forward folds, particularly as we are now in child's pose, we begin to understand or recognize that we're supporting the full length of the channel. So from the feet, for example, the liver channel runs all the way up the chest to just underneath the breast area. When we talk about the kidneys, it runs all the way mid-collarbone, and then the spleen comes all the way up and actually just stops on just to the edge before we get to full lateral side of the body on the rib cage. So when we're folding forward, if the liver channel, for example, we're working from the feet right up just underneath that breast area. We'll be here for 1 minute. 1 minute. Three more deep breaths. As you inhale, just pressing up into the palms. Moving into your cat stretch, just a few rounds, rippling, opening into the full range of the spine. Straightening the left leg out and giving a gentle little rock front and back. Just letting the knee release, the back chain of the body release. Doing the same on the right side, so toes are touching, just a slightly rock front and back. And release. From here, we're going to step the left leg up to the outside of the left hand. Bringing both blocks on the inside just for a little bit of support, staying in your low dragon. We're going to keep the palm, well, I'm going to keep my hands on the blocks. You see how you feel. Checking that the line of the right hip to knee to ankle is, there's as much symmetry there as you can have. Just staying, watching you're not collapsing or dumping into the shoulders. And really focusing on that channel. So the liver actually runs, liver channel between the first and second toe, runs along the top of the foot. It comes along the inseam, along the shin bone, all the way into the thigh, the groin, and then finishing just, as I said, in that rib cage area. The channels are bilateral. They run in exactly the same way on the left side as they do on the right side of the body. And depending on how you're feeling, if you're ready, you can, sorry, I just need to adjust the position of my back knees, go down onto the forearms. This can be quite a strong a classified hip opening pose. Work with the breath again. Make sure the shoulders feel comfortable, feel supported, especially if you're not working with props. We're stimulating the free flow of qi in the liver channel. They talk a lot about liver qi stagnation. It's considered a very Western pathology or reflective of our Western lifestyles. Stagnation can manifest as pain in the body. Stagnation can create heat in the body, particularly liver qi stagnation. It can create a lot of mental rumination, irritability, frustration, or chicken or egg. Frustration can lead to stagnation, pain can lead to stagnation. And also we have something called wood over controlling birth. So often if there's a strong pathology in the wood element of liver qi stagnation, then we can see digestive issues or disruptions in the spleen and stomach channels and organs. 1 minute. And because we're so busy, because we are overstimulated, because sometimes we lack a little bit of nourishment or nourishment from the water element, we're not very grounded, we can see then spikes or disruptions in the smooth flow of qi in the liver. The function of the liver qi is to move in all directions. Okay, so if it's not moving at all, it's a bit like a massive traffic jam, or you leave a big stadium, a sports match, or a music concert, and everything just bottlenecks. Those feelings, that's liver qi stagnation. 2 more deep breaths. Inhale as you press up into the palms. Just using the props to very slowly shift back to release for the hamstrings. Just a gentle counter pose here for a moment. So remember the knee has been bent for a long time, so we just want to allow to release in the hamstring stretch. Three more deep breaths here. Bending into that leg. Stepping back, you can repeat child's pose. I'm going to tuck my toes under for a moment and just come up into a downward facing dog. As I said, your preference. Sliding down onto both knees. Having your props handy, stepping the right foot to the outside of the right hand. Even if you're not working with props, just start a little bit more gently on the body. So stay on the palms, elevated by blocks or props if you have them. Checking that line of hip, knee to ankle on the back foot, heel underneath the right knee. Shoulders relaxed. And just following that line. So imagining the energy moving between the big toe and second toe along the top of the foot into the medial malleolus area, along the upper shin bone, inner thigh, groin area, and just into that intercostal space underneath the curve of the breast area of the pec muscle. Other qualities of the wood element. Color is green. As I mentioned, the season is spring. opens into the eyes. So when we talk about liver yang rising, that's often a temper flare, red eyes, flush to the face. Also sometimes very bad migraines relate to liver yang rising or chin stagnation. The taste is sour, so if you're craving sour flavors or avoiding sour flavors, those can all be little clues about potential imbalances with liver element. Tissue is the sinews, so tendons and ligaments, not the muscles. Muscles belongs to earth and the spleen. See if you're ready to adjust and make your way a little bit more deeply into your pose. Watch that the hips don't collapse and don't feel as if you have to force the same shape on the right side as you have on the left side. Because we work with the season of spring, it's also a very good time to vision and plan, to find creative energy, creative outlets. This can also support the free flow of chi in the body, particularly the liver. So journaling, coloring in, just maybe writing things you'd like to set in motion, things you'd like to achieve, or just allowing your imagination to run freely. 1 minute. And that's why it's really important during the winter months, particularly with the water element, to have rested, to have, in a sense, hibernated if possible. And if we change seasons, for whatever reason, if you miss a lot of winter because you're in the northern hemisphere or vice versa, it can be quite disruptive on your body and on your system. It's not impossible to correct. It's just something to onboard that we really need to go through these different seasons. And the one supports the other, kind of feeds into the other. 3 more deep breaths. Inhale as you press up into the palms, gently shifting the weight back. Bring the blocks on the outside if you were using them, and just supporting that counter pose in your hamstring stretch. Still thinking of the energy moving along that liver line. And the emotions of the wind element are vision, creativity, vision and decision making, and indignation and frustration as I suppose we could term them negative emotions. Bending into the legs, moving the blocks out of your way, stepping back and stretching to child's pose, or coming up into downward facing dog if you prefer. Inhale as you look to your hand. Exhale, stepping through into a seated position, just allowing the legs to release. Then we're going to bend into the knees and to hug the shins throughout the forward forehead. Releasing your hands as you exhale. Slowly allow the full spine to lower into the mat, hugging the knees to the chest. Just giving it a little rock from side to side. Circle the knees. Reverse, change direction. Straightening the legs out. We're going to come into your banana pose. So we make that little window box, hugging opposite elbows. If that's very uncomfortable, you can allow the arms just to hang free. Props might be useful underneath the shoulder if you feel any kind of instability or you have a little bit of a niggle there. We're going to slide the right elbow along the floor in the direction of the right foot. Right foot slides up and then cross swing the left ankle over the right. Keeping both hips connected to the mat and try not to have a strong bend in that left leg. Okay, so little micro bends, hips are connecting, we're creating a curve, a banana shape, move with the body. And in this position, we're stimulating into our gallbladder channel. The yang channels start at the head and run down to the toes. The gallbladder channel is really interesting. It starts from the eyelid, wraps around the temple area, makes this strong zigzag pattern, runs down the back of the neck, runs along the lateral side of the body, over the hip, along your ITB, and then all the way finishing between the fourth and fifth toe. When the energy is flowing freely, when the gallbladder is supported, our decision making is clear. We're able to have those experiences of visioning, but then also deciding, where to action, what's best. When we're indecisive and unable to make clear differentiating decisions, action on decisions, there could be an imbalance with the energetic principles of the ladder. Also, sleep disturbances. Our body clock time for the gallbladder is 11 to 1 a.m. and for the liver, it's 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. We have for 1 minute. 1 more minute. At any stage, you might want to shuffle the feet a little bit higher, deepen into your curve or taper back if it's feeling too uncomfortable. On your next inhale, bringing the head to neutral, the arms overhead and crossing. I like to reach my arms out and just give a little bit of a shake into the
hips and ankles, releasing into the shoulders before coming to make that curve to the other side. So hugging the elbows, just dipping along, dropping left elbow to left foot, left foot slides along the floor and right ankle crosses on top. Again, remember there's no need to force the same position or range on the right side of the body compared to the left. So making sure that the hips are still connecting to the floor, the head is in just a comfortable passive position. Closing the eyes if that feels good. And noticing how you feel along the shoulder joint, the rib cage, the hip, the ITB. The ITB is actually a band of connective tissue, so it's perfect that this is where the gallbladder channel runs. And just thinking of the energy running from the temple area along the lateral line of the body all the way to between the fourth and fifth toe. Keeping the breath slow and steady. Making sure even the fingertips are relaxed. When there's pain in the hip area, glutes, piriformis, we can treat this locally with acupressure points or acupuncture. When there are temporal headaches, the headaches to the side of the head, around the eyes, we could treat this distal with points in the feet, for example. There's a very bone marrow, pain in the body, in the physical body, so in the joints, in the tissues. Staying here for insomnia. We might also consider some points along the gallbladder channel. Thirty seconds remaining. Inhale, just coming up to neutral and crossing the legs. Sorry, I feel very itchy part of my back. Releasing, cutting the knees into the chest, little rock side to side. Circle a few times just to nourish into the lower back. Changing direction. And crossing here into your figure 4 shape. Left leg over right. Relaxing the shoulders, chin in a nice neutral position, soft in the feet, soft in the extremities. Again, working more into that lower quadrant of the gallbladder channel, so from the hip along that out seam running down and finishing between the fourth and fifth toes. One thing we haven't spoken about the wood element is the spirit. Each element has what's called a shen, a spirit, sort of I suppose more esoteric potentially concept or a more abstract concept around the emotions of that element. And for the word element, it's what we call the hun, or the ethereal soul, the energetic soul. That's the part of us that, for example, when we sleep, leaves the body and is able to explore, depending on your belief system. But the hun needs to be able to anchor back into the body. So it's meant to wander at night, it could be our dream states, but then come back and regroup for reality in the waking state. So if the shen is unable to anchor the hun, then this can cause disruptions in the overall spirit or overall quality or experience. And the ethereal soul is also the part that's believed to continue after this lifetime. So again, that could just be a continuation of energy into, again, I suppose in yogic context, when we speak of samadhi or we speak of collective consciousness, Brahman and Atman returning to higher consciousness, to energy, to light. Sometimes it's considered the part that reincarnates. That's not necessarily traditionally Chinese philosophy, but it's understandable how it could be interpreted in that way. Gently release, changing sides, right leg over left, hands just interlaced to the back. And I always find it interesting because however you interpret the ethereal soul, it's a part of us that in this body, in the physical form, has returned from somewhere else or is something purely energetic. And when we think of the emotions like anger, indignation, frustration, vision, creativity, where all of these things might have gained momentum from, or again, depending on your belief system, what you feel your work is in this lifetime, or how much you onboard in terms of your samskaras, in terms of Vedantic principles. One minute. 1 minute. Three more breaks. Gently release and crossing the legs. Roll side to side. Maybe a circle of the knees, releasing for the lower back. Change direction. And then straightening up, coming into your Shavasana. Palms are facing upwards, close to the body but not touching. Any adjustments, moving the head and neck from side to side. covering yourself with a blanket, depending how warm the space you're in might be. And then coming to find stillness in your Shavasana. Slowing down your breath. Creating those sensations of heaviness from head to toe. Just revisiting that full body scan as you did at the beginning of the practice. And slowly begin to brush or press the thumb over each fingertip. Circle into the hands and into the feet, changing direction. And when you're ready, taking a full stretch, reaching the arms long overhead, breathing in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth. Rolling onto whichever side feels most comfortable, tucking the knees to the chest. And then lightly come to press yourself up, returning into your preferred seated position. And taking a breath in through the nose, sighing out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more time. Bringing your hands to heart center. Namaste.
Thank you.